side, 1-2. Standing on deck, Chase Simpson for OU. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Looks like they may be pinch hitting, rather, for Chase Simpson. Garrett Carey. Actually, Garrett Carey subbed in for Simpson at third base earlier in the game, so this would be his first at-bat, if it gets to him. And it looks like it will, as Ross to first, coming all the way home, though, and thrown out at the plate is Caleb Bushyhead. Tried to score from second, and Scott Arthur pegged him at the plate. And OU runs themselves out of another inning.
Unbelievable play by Arthur, staying under control, keeps the ball in the infield, makes an accurate throw to the dish. That's Aggie baseball right there, outstanding.
Aggies lead 5-3.
At Papa John's, coming up with unique tasting creations, now that's our specialty.
It's Papa John's new Buffalo Chicken Pizza. Get a large for only $10. Featuring all-white chicken with creamy ranch and drizzled with spicy buffalo sauce. It's got more zing than a wing. That's Papa John's quality for just $10. Plus, get any large pizza with your choice of any toppings, even specialties. Just $11 each.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
There's something about cars. We connect with them. We talk about them. We share them. It's the same feeling that drives Pennzoil to tirelessly pursue the latest advances in oil technology. Because a car is more than just a car. They're part of us. Long, love cars. Not just oil. Pennzoil.
This is what it's looked like in the series for Oklahoma. Going back to the opener on Thursday, the Sooners just running themselves out of opportunities. See a base running blunder there, and then, whoop. Caught off the bag there between third and home, and then you get the old caught stealing at second, followed by the caught stealing at home. And this is the kind of stuff that drives Sonny Galloway crazy, because in the last inning, trying to score from second is Caleb Bushyhead. What a great play by the second baseman, Scott Arthur, and Bushyhead is pegged out. So instead of having first and third and 2 away, they find themselves now getting set to pitch to Texas A&M in the 7th.
And really difficult play for a third base coach, because with 2 outs, you're trying to score that run. But, you know, the impressive thing for Oklahoma, that's just the microcosm of what's going on. Nothing can go right. That's a great play by Scott Arthur. I mean, that's a throw from in the center field grass all the way across the diamond to the catcher, threw accurately, threw in the air. So, you know, again, the Aggies, that's an outstanding defensive play. But for Oklahoma, you know, you probably need to hold that runner. You know, it's just you're down 2, you're in the 7th. It's just that, you know, that's the 4th run, not the 5th run. There's just, it's the reward is not worth the risk.
You had a 270 hitter who was actually 0 for 3 on the day coming up. Now, actually, no, I take that back once again. Garrett Carey was set to make his first at bat of the day, but he is a very light hitting third baseman is Garrett Carey, and that's the man that was standing on deck. Nonetheless, we find ourselves bottom of the 7th, 5-3 A&M. And Stephen Oker on for the second time in the series. He went 3 1/3 in Thursday's extra inning loss to Texas A&M. He's a starter turned, for the moment, long reliever. He can eat up some innings, and that's what he's being asked to do. After Jonathan Gray went 6 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, 8 hits, struck out 6, and walked 3.
Unfortunately, his first hitter is Tyler Naquin. That is not, you know, that's talking about not easing into it right there. First hitter, one of the top guys in the country.
Yeah, he's 2 for 3 on the day is Tyler Naquin, last year's Big 12 Player of the Year. Okert, the big junior lefty for Oklahoma from Rowlett, Texas.
You know, one thing about Naquin that I think is really impressive, we talked about earlier, the juniors in college baseball have a ton of pressure on them. You know, the draft that looms, and it's your big leverage year in the draft, where you've got a chance to make a lot of money in the signing bonus, and a lot of kids, it's just too much pressure. Naquin has really risen to the challenge.
Hitting .425 coming in, and again, he's 2 for 3 on the day, so that average has scooted north to .431.
what I like is he hasn't given in to what people have said about him, not enough power. He's just played his game, and he's going to be rewarded for it.
Strike 3, though, outside corner from Okert. Naquin strikes out for the second time today.
Great pitch by Okert, but I think Tyler Naquin was kind of thinking, you know, this is kind of my house, Chris, and, you know, that probably shouldn't be called against me. But that's, you know, you could see where Okert with that arm angle, that's very difficult for lefties.
Speaking of House, Jacob House. A little lefty on lefty here. House, 2 for 2 plus a walk. He scored a couple of A&M's 5 runs.
You really have to change your approach left on left here when you're facing someone like Okert, where it's got that good breaking ball and that slinger arm action. You just got to be thinking about left field. You'll pull it naturally, but you almost feel like the ball's coming from Mayfield at second base, so your natural instinct is to pull out of there. You just, you know, it's sometimes that expression, what you know trumps what you feel. You feel like you got to pull out, you know you got to go oppo.
Yeah, he went oppo all right. Opposite field there for House, but right into the glove of Eric Ross. 2 away quickly here for Stephen Okert, the Sooner reliever.
And you'll take that at bat. That's a good quality at bat. That's the one thing. Jacob House, when you see him take BP, I mean, there's nothing that jumps out. He's just a good baseball player, just a good veteran player. He's a big part of this offense, too.
That brings up Matt Yengel. 2-run double in the 5th, his last time up.
And just you know, that at bat to find the game. Had an out of control swing for strike 1, made a good adjustment and got that RBI. That really broke it open.
Strike 2 to Matt Yengel. The 0-2 from Okert outside for a ball. Warming up in the Oklahoma bullpen is a guy that's getting a lot of chatter around the scouting community. Damian Magnifico, who routinely hits 102, 103 occasionally on the L. Del Mitchell gun at OU, but that thing is gunned out to left center field. Deep to the wall is Ross, and he makes the catch as Yengel was looking for his second home run in as many days. But instead, he goes down, as do the Aggies. We go to the 8th. A&M trying to hang on to a 2-run lead.
This is the computer ICU. It's what happens to your computer when it gets infected, slows down, and crashes. And if you don't do something, your computer could wind up here in the computer graveyard. But it could be saved with mycleanpc.com.
Is your computer running slow? Are you frustrated with error messages, blue screens, computer freezes, and crashes? Then go to mycleanpc.com for your free diagnosis today. Then just activate the mycleanpc.com software to fix it in minutes. And computer specialists are available while you're online.
The best thing about mycleanpc.com was it had a free diagnosis.
My computer is 100% faster.
You know immediately what the problem is, and the problem is solved right then and there.
Download your free diagnosis today at mycleanpc.com.
Taking a look at the ESPN USA Today coaches poll, and in that, Texas A&M finds itself at number 5 as they try to finish off a sweep of Oklahoma. Kentucky. Is there a bigger surprise in recent memory at this point of a college baseball season than the Wildcats?
Oh, it's amazing what they've done in the SEC, and they've maintained it. You know, I look at Arizona has moved to a new off-campus ballpark. They could host a regional and super regional this year. I'll tell you, Florida was the team everybody's talking about. They're really scuffling right now. You know, Hudson Randall's not going to pitch this weekend. They're number 1. They've got 3 potential first-round picks. You know, that's going to weigh on them a little bit. The Carson Whitson, the kid that was a first-round pick 2 years ago, has not pitched in about a month. So Florida's really dangerous and talented, but they're not hitting on all cylinders right now.
Talk about really running themselves out of games. Florida did that in a Thursday loss on ESPNU to LSU at home in Gainesville. Garrett Carey up for the first time today. The third baseman came in as a defensive replacement for Chase Simpson. It's a .215 hitter is Garrett Carey. Behind him, though, you get into the 3-4-5 grouping of Jack Mayfield, Hunter Lockwood, and Cody Wren. And it may be the last time OU has a chance to get those guys to the dish here in the top of the 8th. Jason Freeman still on the mound for the Aggies' second inning of work.
Good patient at bat. You know, for Oklahoma right now, you've got 6 outs to play with. You're just thinking about first base. We need guys getting to first base.
Strike 2 to Garrett Carey, 2-2 now. The Aggies 6 outs away from a series sweep of their Big 12 rival. Swung on, fouled back.
And I think you'll see a short leash with Freeman right now. You know, it's a good job as a freshman to get those 3 outs after walking the lead off for, you know, really getting in trouble early in the inning. But, you know, he's hung in there. But I think this will be quick. First base runner, I think he'll be done.
Carey, another foul ball, hangs in 2-2.
Sorry, I was taking Facebook photos with Ari Noda from ESPN.
Somebody called me out there a moment ago. PA guys. I don't know if you heard that over the air.
Gotta love it.
I don't know what he said, but posing with pictures from me. Yeah, who wants that? I'm telling you. It's a waste of paper. Full count here to Carey, rips it into left field. There's your 215. Going to round first and head for second. Brandon Wood gets it in, but how about a leadoff double for Garrett Carey in his first at bat of the afternoon?
Just a quality at bat. Really hung in there. Got to see a bunch of pitches from Freeman. And really with a short swing, he's choked up and just rips the ball down the left field line. Carey shows you great competitiveness. Here it is, ripping the ball down the line. If you remember in game 2, he blew a suicide squeeze, which was another runner that got cut down for Oklahoma, and then came in and got later in the at-bat got an RBI. I think Carey's one of those kids, he's a better hitter with 2 strikes than he is before 2 strikes.
We certainly showed it there, tearing the full count fastball into left field, and now Troy Stein, the catcher, going to go chat with Jason Freeman.
And I think this is a stall. I think Freeman is done. I believe, you know, one of their good relievers, Kyle Martin, is submariner. There we go.
Here comes Rob Childress. Looks like Freeman has finished his day as Childress calls down for the righty. Kyle Martin is going to make his way in from the Texas A&M bullpen. And as he does that, let's check out what's going on around the country here in college baseball. It's the day for Jason Freeman. It was 1 inning. He's responsible for the man on second base. Baylor trying to go to 12-0, and they do it. 12-0 start in Big 12 play. Now, some would argue they haven't played the best competition so far. They, coming into the weekend, had played the bottom 3 teams in the league and all at home, but now they go to Missouri and they sweep the Tigers. Kentucky losing to Ole Miss, who had a nice weekend against Florida last weekend. And LSU leads Florida again in Gainesville. What catches your attention here?
You know, Ole Miss, to me, they've been a program on the verge of Omaha for a long time. Mike Bianco, to me, at Ole Miss, one of the best coaches that's not been to Omaha. So they've shown some toughness and some savvy, them hanging around. I'll be honest, I'm not buying Baylor yet, but it's just 12-0 is hard to refute. I mean, that's amazing. Now, again, Baylor's problem is going to be this. They got to play Texas, A&M, and Oklahoma to finish the Big 12 season, and they open with 9 straight home games in the Big 12 season. So one of 2 things is going to happen. Either all this momentum they've built is going to carry them right through the postseason, or, you know, that the reality of playing A&M, Oklahoma, and Texas, who really is the, you know, that's the key part of the Big 12. So, I'm still not sold on Baylor going to Omaha. But impressive, 12-0. You can't dispute that.
This would be a year for them to go to Omaha. They've got the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback at Robert Griffin. Their women's basketball team wins a national championship. Their men's basketball team goes to the Elite 8. Why not just keep it rolling if you're Baylor?
And Baylor last year, if you remember, they were basically a pitch away from beating Cal. And then they get to host a super regional against Dallas Baptist, but Cal comes back and has that magical run to Omaha. So, you know, Baylor was right there on the cusp of it last year. So I'm not ready to buy, but they've caught my attention.
Kyle Martin into the game for Texas A&M, and the first batter that this submarining right-hander will face with a runner on second is Jack Mayfield for the Sooners. The second baseman 1 for 3 so far on the day. First pitch from Martin, fouled very near, too near the Texas A&M dugout.
Same thing with the approach versus a submariner like Kyle Martin. It's all sink, so you've got to see the ball up. You can't chase down in the zone. If you see something at your knees, that's got to be a take.
Now, Martin 2 nights ago on Thursday pitched 4 innings, which is a career high as Mayfield sends it into left. Nice running catch there by Brandon Wood. The 4 innings, a career high. He threw 57 pitches, also a career high. That's what Kyle Martin did 2 days ago in an Aggies extra inning win.
And there's no worry on wear and tear. The reason why he doesn't throw that much is because second time through the order, the submarine guys are really, you know, they're a little bit more susceptible. The hitters get used to it. You know, when you're throwing submarine like that, there's really very little wear and tear on your arm. So they could go all day long. It's just the hitters they make a good adjustment.
Hunter Lockwood up for the Sooners. Walked, reached on an error, and flew out. That has been his day, as this time he fouls one back. You mentioned the submarine motion, and that's again why softball players will they'll pitch day after day after day, throw 180 pitches sometimes in a game because they say that's a more natural arm movement.
Absolutely. And you know, you got to tip your hat to Kyle Martin. 2 years ago, he was thrown over the top. This is an adjustment that's hard to make, and he's done it.
Strike. 0-2 to number 9 would tie it up as Garrett Carey stands on second base.
Hopefully Hunter Lockwood's not thinking that, though, because this is...
right? That's the coach coming out right there.
That's right. That's
outside, 1-2.
That's where you design drills for home runs in practice are actually outs. I've seen Augie Garrido did that at Texas for Phil Nevin when he coached him. Phil Nevin could literally hit every ball in BP out.
Yeah.
And he basically said to Phil, your first home run in BP, your BP's done for the day. So Phil would hit 20 line drives and then hit a home run just to spite him.
And to rest.
Yes.
Lockwood swings and misses. 2 away as the first batter Martin faces goes down by strikeout.
And this is the secondary pitch for Martin. The sinker's what he's going to get you with primarily, but this is a good changeup. You can throw a good change from down there and just sinks right below the bat.
So one of the top freshmen goes 0 for 3 on the afternoon.
Again, to me, this is the question mark for A&M is the bullpen. Uriagas and Martin have been impressive. So if these guys can, you know, again, continue to prove that they can get people out in a close game late, man, this is a tough team. There's not a lot of holes.
Cody Wren steps up now for Oklahoma. Hits him, the first pitch does, so he moves over to first base, and so now they've got 2 on. As Matt Oberste going to make his second trip to the plate today, came in to pinch hit for the designated hitter Brian Brightwell, and in the 6th, grounded into a double play.
I love this right here, Dart. This is a mature baseball play. He didn't move. He just worked, you know, because the immature play is, I want to hit the 2-run homer and be the hero. This is just hold your ground, and by the way, this hurts. I mean, that doesn't tickle. No. And get that, you know, now we got a situation. We've got tying run at first base. We've got game-winning run, or, you know, leading run, winning run at the dish with a guy that's got some juice. So that's a good baseball play by an older kid, by a senior.
We saw Rob Childress, the A&M head coach over there, chatting with home plate umpire Chris Koski, questioning perhaps whether Wren did enough to try to get out of the way.
And the rule is you can't get hit on purpose, which guys have done in the past, which I love, but you can't do it anymore. But you can stand your ground. And that was borderline. That knee might have popped out there.
It may have. Oberste swings at the first pitch. It's a lazy fly ball to Craig Bretson, and the Aggies get out of the mess. 2 more left on by the Sooners as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Home team getting close to us.
Emily's just starting out and on a budget. Like a ramen noodle every night budget. She thought Allstate car insurance was out of her reach until she heard about the value plan. Dollar per dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
Hello?
Hello, Todd. Just calling to let you know I'm giving you the silent treatment.
So you're calling to tell me you're giving me the silent treatment?
Yeah.
Jen, this is like the 8th time you've called.
Fine. My family has free unlimited mobile to any mobile minutes. I can call all I want.
I don't think you understand how the silent treatment works. Hello?
Buy unlimited messaging and get free unlimited calling to any mobile phone on any network. AT&T.
We picked a great seafood place. It's a tad bit pricey. And hopefully we caught the chef on a good night.
Golden Corral's pan-seared seafood and more. Delicious tilapia, shrimp scampi, sirloin, beef tips, and more. All on our endless dinner buffet, still for one low price, only at Golden Corral.
Back to College Station, Texas. The Aggies leading 5-3. They've fallen behind first in every game of the series, but they are 3 outs away from winning for the 3rd time in all 3 games. So taking the series sweep. Damian Magnifico. There's a high ERA, walks aplenty, but the radar gun will get an absolute workout. Now in Norman, maybe the gun is calibrated a little differently. They say he hits 103 on occasion, more than on occasion. Other guns have had him 101, 102 regularly. I mean, he is firing. Mike Rooney, Dari Nowkhah back with you here at Texas A&M.
It doesn't matter what the gun says, it's absolute petrol. You know, this is, you know, if you're Brandon Wood coming up, you need to start swinging now. Because, you know, and you know, Magnifico's not a huge kid. This is the best arm in college baseball, hardest thrower, biggest velocity, whether it's, you know, 99, 100, 103. Yeah. But, you know, the challenge is pitchability. You know, just being in good counts. You know, at this level of Division I baseball, if they know 103's coming, they're going to square it up. And obviously 103 in leaves at 203 miles an hour. So that can be a problem.
So the first pitch from the flamethrower in for a strike. Now, I will say this, that hit 95. The gun that we have that you're going to see the velocity from is what they are calling in my ear from the truck an unbiased gun. It is not the ballpark gun. It's not the Oklahoma gun. But it still read 98, and that's throwing hard.
I'd never heard that term before, unbiased gun.
I hadn't either. They just told it to me.
Have we interviewed the guy on the gun? Or actually, the gun is an inanimate object. How do you know it's unbiased?
Well, it's just by nature unbiased. Calibrated this morning.
Love that.
Yeah. 1-1 from Magnifico. Swung on and missed from Brandon Wood, who's leading things off. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon.
It's a third-party gun, is what we're saying.
It's exactly. It's an independent gun.
From Northwestern University. Brian. This is amazing because Magnifico is not a big kid. I mean, this is not wow, that is a power arm. He had a get-me-over fastball at 95. Yeah. Just got to, you know, I just want strike one.
And he throws a pretty good change at 80 miles an hour, which is a good 22 miles per hour slower than that steaming fastball. I think we might have just seen it, or some sort of an off-speed, perhaps a breaking ball, but it comes in for ball number 2.
That's the problem, though, is, you know, if you're calling pitches for Magnifico, it's tough because if they're swinging 88 miles an hour, you throw that changeup, you might run right into their bat.
2-2 from Magnifico to Brandon Wood. Inside, he gets the call on strike 3. The unbiased gun has it at 96.
This pitch will make you want to quit baseball. Because this is 96. Look at this run, bearing in on your hands. I'll tell you what, I know Brandon Wood doesn't want to strike out. Thank goodness he didn't swing. That would have really hurt. I mean, that is 96 right? Bearing in on your thumbs.
If it's a Wood bat, it's shattering it at the handle. Catcher Troy Stein now in to take a shot at this Magnifico heat. Well, the unbiased gun is registering very low. It's still 95 to 98 on our gun, but
nice and easy though. This is good for Magnifico. The first pitch, kind of a, you know, for lack of a better term, a get me over fastball. Just get ahead in the count.
Stein has been hit by a pitch, struck out, and had a sacrifice fly. This time it grounded to Mayfield over to Lockwood, 2 away.
Yeah, you know, again, he almost just knocked the bat out of Stein's hand there. I profess hit by pitch. I love that play. You know, I would rethink my position if Magnifico was pitching. But yeah, bright future for him.
I think so. You'd like to continue playing.
Yeah, bright future. You know, Magnifico and Gray, these are guys that, man, you think about them 3 or 4 years down the road if they continue to progress. Amazing.
In comes Blake Alamod. Again, he's showing bunt. I don't want my left hand anywhere near that thing, but
yeah, showing bunt, and I say, why wouldn't you? Exactly.
Magnifico, a 5th-round pick out of high school. Mesquite, Texas is where he's from. The Mets drafted him in the 5th round. Wasn't throwing anything like he's throwing now. The velocity has increased rapidly.
One thing about Oklahoma, they're not thinking about next year right now, but their rotation is back. All 3 guys are back next year for the most part.
Magnifico induces the grounder to short. Bushy head to Lockwood. And the Sooners are going to come up for what may be their final at-bat. They need 2 in 3 outs to continue this ball game and avoid a series sweep.
Introducing InstaHang, the revolutionary wall peg dispensing tool that lets you hang any picture, any object, big or small, on any wall in seconds. Just load the peg strip, place flush to the wall, and peg. The secret is in the angled peg design that angles up for a super tight grip that never slips. Snap on the accessory cap to cover the peg, or add on a handy hanging hook. All the accessories store inside the tool. InstaHang has a built-in bubble level, a convenient measuring guide, and it automatically reloads itself so you can hang multiple pictures. And now the complete InstaHang toolkit, complete with a peg dispensing tool and 50-piece accessory kit, is yours for just $14.99. But wait, call now and we'll include as a bonus an additional 50-piece accessory kit and this precision laser level with dual bubble levels and a retractable tape measure for hanging pictures perfect every time. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get the InstaHang with 100-piece accessory set and a precision laser level of $50 value, all for only $14.99. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-693-3704 or visit instahang.com.
And Ace Schroff in studio. Coming up on Sports Center U, Shelly Smith joins us from Fayetteville for the latest on Arkansas head football coach Bobby Petrino. Plus, there's a big quarterback competition in Gainesville. We'll show you what happened today in Florida's spring game. Danny Cadell also with us at Sports Center U after the game.
Welcome back to College Station. The Aggies 3 outs away from sweeping the Oklahoma Sooners. They lead 5-3 going into the Sooner night. Dari Noka alongside Mike Rooney, former coach at Arizona State. Take a look at the Big 12 standings. A&M sitting at 6-2, 3 outs from 7-2. Baylor with a sweep of Missouri, followed by 3 consecutive home sweeps, sitting there alone by a mile at 12-0.
Impressive.
Last chance for the Sooners. Caleb Bushyhead facing Cole Langford. Oh, I take that back. Kyle Martin is still indeed in the game now for Texas A&M.
Well, if anything can get your season going, you know, a come from behind win in the 9th against the 5th-ranked team in the country. So this isn't a great opportunity for Oklahoma. It doesn't look great, but it's an opportunity.
Bushyhead takes the ball outside. Cole Langford in catching right now for Texas A&M. One-two from Martin to Bushyhead. Senior gets a piece of it, sends it foul. We stay 1-2. Look at him, Sonny Galloway. He has got to be stewing over there in the Oklahoma dugout. Just more of the same for his baseball team to date. Lost opportunities against the Aggies. Bushyhead on the off-speed pitch, grounds it to short. Mikey Reynolds across the diamond to Jacob House, 1 out. That caps an 0-for-3 day for Bushyhead.
Well, I think that, you know, it's one thing if you didn't feel like your team was good enough, you'd be frustrated at your recruiting. I think if you're Oklahoma, you love your recruiting. You just, you know, they're just not. We're not playing as good as we can play, and that's difficult to take as a coach.
Evan Mistich now comes off the bench to pitch hit for Dylan Neal, the catcher. Mistich, 5'11" senior from the state of Louisiana. .234 hitter on the season, a couple of home runs, 13 RBI. .10 pitch, forthcoming. Took a little off of it there, and that's strike 2.
One thing I take away from A&M today, Dari, they don't get flustered. Even though they weren't very good today, they weren't very sharp, they just keep playing. they've just got such a great approach to the game, and they're tough to beat.
1-1. My bad there from Martin. Swung on. That's strike 2. Sooners came in having won 7 of their last 9 after an 0-4 start in Big 12 play, but it is going the other way quickly for this team and a proud baseball program. Postseason play is getting further and further away here as they are 2 outs away from a sweep in College Station. The 1-2 to Mistich. Ground ball. Another one to Mikey Reynolds. He was looking for House, and he has him 2 away, and the Aggies need 1 more out for a series sweep of the Sooners.
When as an infielder like Mikey Reynolds, you love when Kyle Martin comes in the game because it's almost like someone's just going to be hitting you fungos. He's just going to be ground ball, ground ball, ground ball. And, you know, again, Mikey Reynolds, a great pickup for these guys. Was at St. Mary's as a freshman in California. Went to Paradise Valley Community College last year as sophomore. Played for Victor Solis, really one of the great junior college coaches out there. Huge addition for the Aggies. Lead off, played shortstop every day. Been a great get for them.
That brings up Max White. Can he keep things going for Oklahoma? 1 for 2 and a hit by pitch today for OU, and that's strike 1 from Kyle Martin. The 0-1 pitch. Little softly hit over the head of the second baseman, Scott Arthur. Will we be risky if we're Oklahoma? No, Max White slams on the brakes there at first base. So the Sooners stay alive, and Eric Ross will come to the plate. Kyle Martin looking for his first save of the year, his second career save. The nice piece of hitting there from Max White, second hit.
Great swing, and Max White just showed you the book on how you get to Martin. You got to use the whole field and single him to death. You know, single him to death. You can't hit a home run. He's not going to elevate a ball like that. So that's really the formula. Now you got to go execute it.
For us, if we're Texas A&M, Mike Rooney, what does a series sweep here at home and a 7-2 Big 12 mark mean?
Well, you know, it proves that we've got a really good team, and we're a threat to go to Omaha again.
What a play by the pitcher, Kyle Martin, to end the game. Texas A&M wins it 5-3. He knew there was no chance he'd be able to pick it up in time to throw to first, so he cracks it to his first baseman. What a play by Martin to finish off the series sweep.
And a great way, great way to finish the sweep. A&M is the real deal. Don't be surprised if you see them in the National Championship Series in Omaha.
They improved to 26-6 after a Game 3 5-3 win to finish up a sweep of Oklahoma. 5-3 Aggies, your final. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. SportsCenter U is next with the latest on the Arkansas head football coach Bobby Petrino investigation into his crash. Also Florida with their big spring football game down in Gainesville. Mike and I will be back in a few moments to wrap things up from College Station. But for now, we send it to our ESPNU studios in Charlotte, Anish Shroff and Danny Cannell.
Thank you very much, Dari. Auburn taking on Alabama on the diamond, the Iron Bowl version. 2nd and 3 in Tuscaloosa. That's Caleb Brown, double down the left field line. Zach Albert scores. Auburn, the early 1-0 lead. Bottom 4, Joe Kelton. Base knock to right. Jared Reeves comes in. Game tied up at 1. In the 7th, 2 outs. Man in scoring position. Hunter Gregory, seeing eye single up the middle. That brings in John Kelton. Alabama down 3-2. And then in the 9th, 2 outs, man on. How about Taylor Dugas? Walk-off homer. And a tied roll, 4-3. Welcome to SportsCenter U. Anish Shroff here with former Florida State quarterback and infielder Danny Cannell. A man of all seasons, certainly Texas A&M down early against Oklahoma. They come back. You heard Mike Rooney saying this is a team that could play for a championship. What did you see out of the Aggies?
I'll tell you, look at this team that Rob Childress has built, and they're really strong. They've got the starting 3 in Michael Waka, Ross Strickland, and Pineda, who we saw today. Not only that, but they've got 7 guys in their batting lineup that all are over 300 average. So they've got both sides of the ball. You saw them in this series against Oklahoma. Every game they started off, they were down, they were trailing, but they didn't panic. They showed a lot of patience at the plate, and they played sound, fundamental baseball.
What is it about this team that allows them to come back and stay in games even when they're down?
Well, I think you see guys making pitchers go deep in the counts. They're forcing them to throw strikes, and then when they get guys on first, they bunt them over. They sacrifice fly. Earlier, we saw the best player in the Big 12 last year, and Naquin had a great at-bat with bases loaded, able to knock in a couple guys there. So they're just very fundamentally sound, and they have high expectations. You saw when Pineda was struggling early, Childress was very upfront about it and talked about it in the coach's interview after the 5th inning and said, hey, he's not playing well, but still they find a way to win even when they're struggling.
You mentioned that emphasis on small ball. That's something you need to do well now. Home runs are down across college baseball. Right now we get it back to College Station and Dari Noka.
All right, Anish, thank you much. Former Arizona State coach Mike Rooney here with me as Texas A&M beats Oklahoma 5-3, finishes up a 3-game series sweep of the Sooners. What do you take away as we watch A&M?
Very impressive. They're as good a chance as anybody to be in that national championship series in Omaha. They've got starting pitching, depth in their lineup. They can run, they can hit for power. A&M is the real deal, and someone's going to have to deal with them to win a national title.
Now let's head on down to the field, bring in Tyler Naquin, the junior, who was 2 for 4, drove in a run on the afternoon, and you guys come home, and I know you expect to win, but in the end, you do get a 3-game series sweep of the Sooners. What does a series win like this and a sweep do for your team?
It's a very big deal. You know, Oklahoma, you know, they're a good ranked team. They're always playing good baseball, and for us to, you know, them come on the road and us take care of business at home, that's a really big deal in front of, you know, all these fans and whatnot.
Tyler, your first at bat today, Jonathan Gray pitched you like your Albert Pujols. You know, breaker, sliders in the dirt, fast, 95 in, but then you came back and used the whole field. How much is using the whole field important to your game?
It's a big deal. You know, my whole approach is, you know, hit the ball where it's pitched, you know, and, you know, my hat's off to him in that first at bat. You know, he pitched me, you know, just about as good as he could pitch me, fooled me, and, you know, I tip my cap on that. But my next at bat, you know, it's a whole new at bat, and I just got to stay with my same approach.
Tyler, Mike Rooney just said, don't be surprised to see Texas A&M in the national championship series in Omaha this year. How much do you guys as a team talk about that?
We don't talk about it really at all. You know, that's the goal for any team. You know, every team around the nation, that's the main goal. But, you know, we take one day at a time. You're only guaranteed one day at a time. So every day you go out there, get 1% better, you know, to help your team and put us in the best possible position to get there.
Tyler Naquin, congratulations on a nice series. 2 for 4 day with an RBI as you finish off the series sweep. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. He's a special one. This team, as you said, Mike, is a very special one as they finish off the series sweep with a 5-3 win over Oklahoma. So the Aggies keep on cruising in the Big 12 as we send it back to Anish.
All right, Dari, we're going to take you live. A little ACC baseball. Danny's alma mater, Florida State, #2 in the nation, taking on Georgia Tech.